Stage 4 of the first Garden Route Giro 6-day gravel stage race took on the mighty Swartberg Pass for the second time in as many days. Having started at Jakkalsvlei Private Cellar on Monday, the race crossed the Langeberg and Rooiberg mountains on Tuesday before traversing the Swatburg for the first time on Wednesday. Thursday, the 16th of April, saw the race take on the event's highest pass from the northern side. And once again, Cronje Beukes and Manuel were the strongest climbers. But they did not have it all their own way. The 87-kilometre stage started in Prince Albert and finished in De Rust, taking in 1,650 metres of climbing, the bulk of which came on Swartberg Pass and the first half of the Oude Road. The last part of the stage trended downhill before a final kick up to the finish line in the heart of the hamlet of De Rust. A long neutral zone out of Prince Albert kept the racers at bay until they turned onto the gravel and the run-in towards Swartberg Pass. An intermediate sprint, 7 kilometres in, spurred Ignatius Joubert into action. Herman Preez, his nearest rival for the sprint jersey, jumped with him, as did Manuel Pliem and Jacques Hanekom. Joubert outkicked Preez to claim maximum points, then maintained his momentum to get a head start up the pass with Pliem. That burst helped Joubert and Pliem make the front selection, but could not help them hold Beukes' wheel when he attacked. For the second day in a row, Beukes dominated his rivals on the Swartberg Pass. Wessel Botha was best able to follow, but even he ceded 2 minutes to the race leader by the summit. Marco Joubert relied on the strength of Preez to help limit his time losses to 3 minutes at the top and started the descent with Pliem, Ignatius, Preez and Dan Loubser. Joubert's descending skills helped him reduce his deficit to Beukes by 90 seconds. Botha did even better on the drop from the top to the Klein Karoo, virtually catching the leader on the road by the time they reached the neutralised zone. Having been stopped at the Roads Company of South Africa Stop and Go, where work was being done clearing a rock slide, Beukes and Botha were forced back together. They rode the neutralised zone together, discussing tactics for the finale. Surprisingly, Beukes opted to depart on his own as the Joubert group approached the end of the neutralised zone. He would later explain that the weather forecast suggested a strong tailwind for that section of the route, and he expected to gain an advantage from racing it solo. Behind, Joubert and Botha believed that their strength in numbers, as both men had teammates in the group, would help them reel Beukes in. As it transpired, the race leader crossed the finish line in De Rust first, and then waited impatiently for Joubert and Botha. Once all three were finished and the calculations triple-checked, Beukes was announced as the stage winner. His margin of victory a slender 3 seconds. Botha was second and Joubert third. The result means that Beukes now leads Joubert by 4 minutes and 23 seconds. Botha is a further 12 seconds back. Ignatius remains fourth and Keegan Bodgekoning fifth on the overall standings.
Decided to risk it. Sometimes you have to do stupid things to get stupid good. So I went solo after the neutral zone. All the wind reports said it's a tailwind, but the headwind kind of caught me off guard. But I managed to keep the gap and still take the stage win.
In the women's race, the early sprint points went to Vera Loza ahead of Lisa Boon and Trobost, but the sprint was no indication of the climb. For the second time in 2 days, Trobost flew up the Swartberg Pass. By the summit, her nearest rival was Catherine Kruger, 2 minutes back, while Boon and Loza were a further 2 minutes back. On the descent, the race leader extended her advantage, while Kruger suffered a minor crash and lost her position on the road to Loza and Boon. Just when it seemed inevitable that Trobost would march into an insurmountable overall lead with a barnstorming stage victory, her Garmin warned her that her shifter's battery was running low. With the neutral zone approaching, she opted to wait until then to stop, but once she did, the group, which included Loza and Boon, flew by. Sensing an opportunity, the women in third and second on the general classification pushed on. Yet Trobost found an ally in Jan Wittan, worked with the South African to limit the gains of the group ahead. Coming into De Rust, Loza outsprinted Boon to take what she hoped would be a first stage victory of the race. But such was Trobost's dominance on Swartberg Pass that she had more than enough time in hand. When the woman in yellow crossed the finish line, her winning margin was 4 minutes and 5 seconds over Loza and an additional 2 seconds over Boon. As a result, Trobost holds a 6 minute and 21 second advantage over Boon heading into the Queen's stage.
I think before the water point, my Garmin sent a message that my battery was almost empty from my left shifter. and I had a spare one with me. So I thought I could better change it in the neutral zone. Then I could go to the finish without any problems.
On paper, stage 5 looks to be the toughest of the race. A 126-kilometre day includes 2,040 metres of climbing, with Prince Alfred's Pass providing both the biggest climbs and the best views of the Queen stage. South Africa's longest gravel pass is next for the Garden Route Giro races. But first, let's look back on the Swartberg showdown, the tactics and the bravery required to thrive on proper gravel.